So with that being said, let's get to it. Mr. Red Fox here with BS Busters, and I'm joined by.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to BS Buster's special podcast.
That's right. That's right. It's a special, short little cast where we're talking about the elephant in the room, or you know,
PlayStation 5, and of course, their or or backstabbing, whichever you prefer, method of showing system after PlayStation.
well, they didn't even show the system. They just gave us a series of specs that to people who aren't into specs don't give a shit about. And I'm not gonna go over the specs. You can go look them up. But basically, um, overall, they're using specs that would have been top of the line, or at least, you know, on the lower end of the spectrum of a high tier gaming PC a year, 18 months to 2 years ago.
That's the fun thing. I always know consoles are always the systems that are out of date compared to computers. That being said, that's not bad. Though, where's the meat?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, all of these specs are nice and all, but at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I buy consoles for games, right?
To impress other people.
Well, I'll joke and say that, but in true fashion, I buy consoles to play games. And this system, the games that they have for this system are
water at best.
Well, they didn't announce any games.
Just a glass.
Not even glass. They announced absolutely nothing. We don't know any games. Or anything like that. The only thing we have is specs. Yeah, and that's it. And for people who are like, man, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be the best shit ever. Let's keep it real, okay? Let's like that awesome TV show back in the day, or that awesome segment back in the day on Mad TV, where they had like the dating app, called Lowered Expectations. Lowered Expectations.
Yeah, that's lower. As in, I at least expected to have a glass. I don't even get that.
You mean seeing something, anything?
As in, I'd at least a glass so I could try to get a drink on my own. I don't even get that.
What do you mean glass? I don't know what you're talking about.
As in, I thought we at least get one item, which would be at least something which is better than zero, like only a glass, so you could do something like take a glass of water, get.
I fail to see the relevance of you mentioning a glass. I don't get what joke you're trying to pull up. It's falling a little flat.
Okay, I was expecting to at least know what kind of to see a console image, or at least get a date.
Oh no, you ain't.
It's one of those two.
No one's getting it. No one is getting a date. No one is getting a. No one's getting any of that shit.
Yeah, I could. No date, no image, zero.
Okay. It's like the end of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where it's like, you broke the deal, so you get nothing. You get nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's basically what we got. Not a damn thing. there you go. I mean, I guess the reason I'm talking about it is because, I mean...
Fan speculating?
Well,
Feelings running rampant?
Well, not even the fan speculation. It's just, like, you know, people are getting really hyped up about this, and I'm like, why?
What?
I don't get it.
Please tell me that's a joke, because...
I mean, it's a rhetorical statement. The reason I say why is because every single console generation, new consoles come out and they have these very impressive specs. And at the end of the day,
they aren't showing anything.
We get nothing to show for it. I mean, you know, we aren't getting games that are any way more in-depth or interesting than what we've had years before. So essentially, people are excited about some shit that in the grand scheme of things isn't really adding anything to the gameplay experience.
It's nothing.
So, I know people are going to get mad because people get mad at me when I say these things, but...
It happens. But then again, even I'm not immune to some of this, so I can understand.
Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I find people getting hyped up about this to be like,
we've been through we've seen this train crash before. Why you want to crash?
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's just like, okay, you're doing this, but is this actually like? How many times do we have to be tricked with the old bait and switch? They're like, yeah, man, this is going to be the best shit ever. Look at this awesome stuff. And then the game comes out and it's like we get slightly prettier, but the same shit we've been getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of blows. Cause I'm one of those few people that don't try to board that.
Well, I mean, look, listen. You know, I think we said this in our last podcast, but I don't necessarily want to play. You know, I want new shit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna say because you said it before, and I'm gonna say this. I know your feeling, and yet I'm gonna say I only hope a step forward. A single step at least.
Nah. I mean, okay, look. You see, you're being reasonable. I am being unreasonable because I'm used to because I'm still in that old school gaming mindset where, you know, when you jumped from one console generation to another console generation, you were seeing games that you could not have possibly seen on the old hardware. Like, you know, from the 3rd gen to the 4th gen, from the 4th gen to the 5th gen, from the 5th gen to the 6th gen. And then you hit the 7th gen, where it's basically you start just getting minor incremental jumps. Except for Nintendo with motion control. You know? And
this is where I'm gonna have... I get where you're coming from, but I'm coming from a different angle, which is more of a consumer. Like, seen what these guys have done, and I've already, and after seeing their business practices, including Nintendo, I'm not about that. I just feel like, if anything, watch what they do, hope for a step forward, but much else until you see what else they pull off, as in watch what they do and don't get too hyped about it.
I don't know about that, but I'm definitely very much at this point. I'm very much like a. I'm not hopeful that any of these things are going to be good. Like I don't think. I think what you're going to see with the new Xbox and the new PlayStation 5 is just a series. Is the same shit we had last gen, where you had 2 to 3 years of the first beginning of the thing just being bullshit. And a lot of ports of old shit. Like, I mean, you still haven't seen anything on any of these new consoles that are actually innovative. No. No one has released a game on their system. And when I say no one, I mean Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft has released a game on their systems where it's like, okay, this is truly like, we've never seen this before. We haven't seen it. It doesn't exist. It hasn't been released yet. You know, like, I mean, if you look at the first party games across everything, nothing is really like, oh man, this is amazing. We've never seen this before. Okay. I mean, I'm personally kind of offended that Sony and Microsoft are fucking talking about specs when they can't even get basic gameplay down right.
Yeah. The reason why I at least get on their cases a lot more, because they care about their stuff a lot, and if you're gonna keep lying about it, then you're gonna keep on getting called out. No ifs, no ands, no buts.
Look, man, look at this. It's like, look, this is nice and everything, but
where's the meat?
First of all, where are the games? Second of all, and if you're and if the only games you're bringing out are basically just
leftovers,
basically just well, not leftovers. They're basically just slightly prettier versions of shit that we already had. I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. These specs are not impressive. The thing that people are really like, oh man, look at this, these high, level, this solid state drive. It doesn't listen. Having a solid state drive doesn't fucking matter when the games are still huge. It just means that the games will.
The games could come in a little easier.
They'll just load faster. Yeah.
It bugs me knowing that these people are not compressing their beeping in data.
Well, I mean, it's not even about compression, because compression just it's a three-pronged problem. Okay, it's compression, encoding, and decoding. In order to compress things, you have to have an encoder in order to change the code, and yet you need a decoder on the actual hardware in order to recall that code and put it back in a state where the CPU of the machine can actually use it.
I just feel like they have technology and they have how to program, and yet they cannot compress it into a smaller space.
Here's the thing. It's very easy to say that, I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just simply saying it's easy to say, well, the issue is just that they're not compressing their code. But the thing is that you can compress code only so much until it begins to run inefficiently.
Yeah.
So basically, like,
there's a point where you would basically have to sacrifice this for space confinement,
well,
and
you start running into that's where you start getting major errors in coding. That's why there's certain games that you play and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna play this game looks fun, and you start playing it and like you run into errors where floors are disappearing, the game crashes because the code has been optimized so much that it's missing sequences and are being misread. So I mean, as Nintendo gamers, we always use Nintendo as an example, but most of the games that are heavily compressed are made by Nintendo for Nintendo consoles. So I mean, obviously, if you're in your own kitchen, you better know how to use everything in your own goddamn kitchen.
I was gonna say, third parties are really notorious.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's not fair to expect someone to just walk into your kitchen and know where everything is and know how to cook best in your kitchen, because every kitchen's going to be different. In the case of third parties, I'm going to say that they are a little bit lazy. In my opinion, they well, not lazy. They go for expedience and ease versus sometimes taking the chance and doing shit the hard way. Because sometimes you do shit the hard way, it's better than doing shit the easy way. Not all the time, but sometimes.
I was about to say, hey, you know that.
But in the case of these consoles, like everyone's like, man, this has got to be good. Man, look at these specs. Man, specs don't fucking matter. Specs don't matter if the games
can't run
or aren't utilizing those specs. And the problem with these new systems is that none of these games are going to be utilizing these specs.
Which, realization, when you know who usually, where a majority of the games come from at time.
And I know some people are going to get mad, but I mean, no console for the last two gens, except for maybe the Wii, had games on the system that were pushing the console to its limits. Okay? The Wii U didn't have any real games, in my opinion, that were pushing the console to its limits. The PS4 has no games that are pushing the system to its limits. The Xbox One doesn't have anything pushing the series to its limits.
We get the point.
It's not happening. So I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "How dare you, sir?" But I mean, we're not seeing what we were promised. Okay?
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. What?
I get you, which is kind of when you look it over.
Yeah, so do you have anything that you would like to get off your chest concerning this before we move on to the Well, we're not really going to really moving on to anything, but do you have anything you want to get to our chest before we wrap up this little mini podcast, recorded podcast?
Simple.
Like if you could go to Microsoft and Sony and say, look, this is what you need to do in order to make these consoles successful. Or actually, I shouldn't even call them consoles. They're shitty little mini gaming PCs. But you want this to be a successful product. Here's what you need to do. What would you do?
Basically, I would be demanding to know what they're going to do with the A of the other games that are coming up.
You need to say what you were going to say again because you cut out in the middle of what you were saying.
I will want to know what the AI for the games that they are coming out with.
The AI?
If they're not going to innovate with the controller, or they're not going to try some new stuff, at least give us something that makes the game more.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, really, the AI issue is more of that's more of the developer's problem, not the hardware.
Yeah, but we always hear the fact that everything's going to look crisper, everything's going to be more powerful. And how is it going to be using that power is the pain that goes when going with game to game. But that's probably just me being on a fantasy.
Yeah.
That we
That's
get some
wishful thinking right there.
Yeah, but as I said, be on fantasy, trying to wish for at least some better AI and understand and having a more interesting feel with.
Yeah, that's some wishful thinking right there. So, if I could tell Sony and Microsoft something about their consoles, listen, stop focusing so much on specs and start focusing on what games are coming to the system. Microsoft already told us, yeah, we don't have any big games coming out, big first-party
for 2 years
coming out for 2 years. So right there, the Xbox One was like, well, don't give a shit.
Yeah, they're gonna be on. So Sony has to do the lifting of games.
And then, I mean, you know, and that's for both of them, Sony and Microsoft. I'm like, okay, if you don't have anything, if you're not talking about the games coming to the system, if you don't have any exclusives, any good exclusives coming out for the system, if you don't have any, but I don't think Microsoft is playing that game because they're, you know, Microsoft is playing on a completely different level than Sony.
How fun.
So, well, I mean, you know, to be fair, it's good because Microsoft wasn't really doing that well. They weren't really doing that well in the console space. I know people think they were because they were on Xbox Live and they had all their friends on Xbox and they played games. Microsoft has never turned a profit on every single console gen. That division for Microsoft has lost money. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. And at the end of the day, a business is in business to make money, not lose money. So I don't care if you sold a lot of products and someone's like, yeah, we mentioned it on YouTube. Doesn't fucking matter because if you're losing money, it doesn't matter.
Not Marvel. I mean, this is not Marvel. This is not Disney. This is a video game.
No, even Disney. If Disney's losing money because they can't get their shit together, you know, they're fucking up. You know.
Yeah.
All right, because a business exists to make money. All right. I mean, if you want to own a business where you don't have to make money, well, go open a nonprofit. But even those have to be solvent, so you still gotta have enough money coming in to keep everything running.
Yeah, which kind of makes me feel like nobody in this industry or in another industry is thinking about trying to survive, which is a little.
So what I'm saying is that people need to understand this shit. To quote Satoru Iwata, please understand that these specs mean nothing if the games coming out aren't utilizing the specs. You know, you can have, you know, the latest next-gen technology all you want, but if the games aren't utilizing it, or they're utilizing it poorly, it doesn't matter. So that's all I had to say. Anything else you wanna get off before we wrap things up?
I think I got my issues out of my system, at least for now.
All right. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. Anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
I think I'm alright.
Alright, so there we are, folks, with the end of this video where we talked about all types of cool stuff. If you would like to get in touch with the podcast, you can get in touch with me via Gmail at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com. That's with one D and one X, all lowercase, no period. Or at Twitter at Matthew_Wesley at MrRedFox91. That's all lowercase on Twitter. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, this is a bullshit-free zone at BS Busters. Good night.
And have responsibly.
And I got a hand up to fuck these. Fuck EA, fuck Activision, fuck Sony, fuck Microsoft, and fuck the coronavirus. There you go.